Well, the last time I came to you, and I went public in that specific Facebook page, the response from two Ron Paul adherents, shall we call them, was to call me a Canadian, and a foreigner, and a liar. Never addressing anything I said in a 14-minute video. One of them posted something that somebody else said, as a cookie-cutter, fortune cookie response. As if there is a response that can just be given anytime somebody questions you on your position. Even some of the members who usually support Mr. Ron Paul noticed this. The arguments were very weak. Let's face it, being called a Canuck is not exactly a refutation of one's position, is it? Ron Paul's memory as far as the Middle East goes back to 1953, or whenever the Iranian regime was overthrown, and in place was put the Shah by the CIA. Now, of course, the Ron Paul crowd has a problem with us actually instilling an authoritarian who is within our interests, and who serves our interests. Because after all, the only interest to them is oil and money. They don't understand the need to keep the Islamic hordes at bay. The same arguments they made against Saddam Hussein, i.e., the removal of a dictator doesn't necessarily mean the rise of a democratic nation. Their very own argument they don't understand. And as for my part, he was a threat and had to go, despite little consequences and bumps in the road that had to be taken care of. And if Donald Rumsfeld were listened to, as linked below in this video, there wouldn't have been an occupation, there would have been an Arab-Iraqi government. There was supposed to be a meeting between the Iraqi leaders before the invasion to try to come up with a government system. Unfortunately, the State Department, run by Colin Powell, and his friend Paul Bremer, decided that Arabs could not control themselves or rule themselves and needed to be occupied, which led to a rise of the insurgency. Thank you, Colin Powell. Link below on the Donald Rumsfeld memo. Now, why is it that Ron Paul's memory only goes back to 1950? When asked why we have trouble with the Islamic regions, he says it is for political reasons as opposed to religious ones, for his Western eyes and ears and mind cannot conceptualize a religious war. Talk about living in your own box. That is him, and that is his supporters. Westerners have a hard time believing in religious wars. It's foreign to them, for we believe in the principles of democracy, liberty, freedom, and mutual respect, something the rest of the world does not believe in. We have been living too long in our own little worlds. Hopefully the internet and things of this sort can open our minds into how the rest of the world lives, thinks, and feels. The truth of the matter is, we've been involved in the Middle East since the founding of our country. After the Revolutionary War, or even before the Revolutionary War to be exact, we realized that we would no longer fall under the protection of the British Crown. And we faced an ambush by the Arab pirates known as the Barbary Pirates. You can look into the Marine Corps hymn, from the halls of Montezuma to the shores of Tripoli. Yes, that Tripoli. And since we needed to protect our vessels from these pirates, if you read the Federalist Papers, you realize that the Founding Fathers decided that we needed a navy, and that 13 separate states couldn't actually produce a navy to protect our ships. We needed to have a federal, national, or some kind of government to where we could actually have a navy. This was why we got together. This goes to the fundamental principle of Ron Paul's foreign policy argument. 1. Not only have we been involved in the Middle East since the founding of the country, it is one of the reasons why we founded the country. 2. It was concerning our involvement in the Middle East, not the overthrow of Iran and the emplacement of the Shah that started this mess. We've been involved since time immemorial, and we will continue to be involved. This is a long war past. What would he have us do, not protect ourselves from the Barbary Pirates? Why is it that the Ron Paul crowd cannot understand history? I would suggest you pick up a book called Power, Faith, and Fantasy. You may be surprised, since the author does not agree with the Iraq War. Hey, maybe now you'll actually read the thing. Do it!